Hi guys, so today we're going to be ranking all of my Anastasia Beverly Hills palettes. I have most of them from modern renaissance to now, except the Noreena minis because I don't really gel with 9 pans. So we are going to rank them and we're going to start from the ones that I like the least to my favorites. And yeah, but before we get into that, remember to hit the like button, subscribe to my channel if you'd like, and hit that notification bell so hopefully YouTube will notify you when I have a new video out, which is normally Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. And then if you want to follow me for more makeup tutorials and shit, those are usually on my Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. They're all linked in my description, or if you just want to search Kealey's Beauty, you'll find me. So let's get right into this. At the bottom of my list is the Alyssa Edwards collab. Now, I didn't get this at launch. I got it for when it went to Marshall's for 25 bucks. But I would not have paid for this. Like, I would not have paid. In Canada, these are about 55 to 60 bucks. I would not have paid that money for this. The purples and blues suck. They're just not the normal formula of Anastasia Beverly Hills. I haven't really played with the neutrals, but I've really dug into the purple. And then the white, just, it's not, they have better whites in their range. So for that reason, this palette's kind of just like, eh. I wouldn't even recommend getting it, even if you find it, but definitely don't pay full price for it. And then the next palette at the bottom of my list is the Noreena Volume 2. Now, I create gorgeous looks with this. This formula is not bad, but it's not at the level of the other palettes. So, like, I can create a gorgeous look. I have to work a little harder than I'd like to with an Anastasia Beverly Hills shadow, and these are 80 bucks in my currency. So I don't want to work, to have to work and have to blend a little more and have to, you know, if I don't need to for 80 bucks. So if I had a chance, I probably wouldn't pick this up again, mostly because I don't wear that much blue. I say as I'm wearing blue because I have blue and green eyes, but it's not a bad palette. You won't regret it. It's just not for me, really. Okay, and then next, I don't know why this was such a hyped palette. Can you guess which palette this is? Modern Renaissance. I got this when they had like a 20% off all their palette sale because I had to figure out what the hype is. But these shimmers, like there's one right here, and I think this one. Yep. No offense, but these suck. The shimmers suck. And Anastasia Beverly Hills has an amazing shimmer formula. So why the fuck did you guys go crazy over this? Like, the color story's pretty, it's okay, it's nothing to write home about, in my collection at least. But those shimmers suck. What the fuck were you guys thinking? Like, the formula on them is okay, and because there's not many shimmers, it ranks higher. And the color story is like more everyday glam, but like, there are better shimmers from ABH. And then the next is actually one of their limited edition palettes. It is the Riviera palette. Now, I like the formula of this very much. I do find the purple canes a little harder to work with, but not so much so as the Alyssa Edwards palette. It ranks a little lower because I have a hard time creating multiple looks with this. I have 3 or 4 that I can bang out with it, but I want to be able to create, you know, 10, 20 different looks because I don't think you guys are going to enjoy me doing the same look over and over again. So for that reason, it just ranks lower, but it is a good formula. I do have a little trouble with canes, but not as much as their others. So kind of mind that. And then I think people are going to be surprised that this one has been ranked higher because it's a neutral palette, but this is Soft Glam. And the reason why this one ranks higher is because, first off, their shimmers in here are their normal shimmers. They're gorgeous, except maybe Tempera, but that's more of a satin shade. But this is your everyday neutral glam palette. You can go heavy glam with this side, or you can go soft glam. But it's a versatile palette, and it doesn't have any of those, like sometimes Anastasia Beverly Hills likes to do a beautiful palette with one pop, and that's it. No, I like a cohesive palette that I can use all the colors in. And then you're gonna see those random pops in higher rankings. Sorry, I'm a hypocrite. And then we all know I like purples. Can you guess what's coming? You might have guessed wrong, you might have guessed right. I also got this one during a sale. This is the Noreena palette, the OG. I think this is a gorgeous glam neutral purple palette. This is how you do purples, right? If you're doing this for someone who wants to dip their toes in. Got a few purples. The shimmer formula is their normal shimmer formula. It's gorgeous. You can go neutral, you can go purple, you can go glam. I really like this palette. It's not totally my everyday palette. There are other palettes that I do choose to use over this, which is why it doesn't rank higher. And then this is also a collab palette. This is their first 16 pan. This is the Amethyst palette. First off, this palette packaging is gorgeous, except for the fact that I will glitter for weeks. Like, there's always glitter whenever I pull out this palette, but I don't really mind that. It's just, yeah. The reason why this one is not higher is because of these glitters. This one and this one, so Gemini and Liddy are both glitters. And I think that they could just take them out. And then the fact that these two, OG and New Yorker? I can't say that. New Yorker. Enjoy me trying to say that. Whatever. New Yorker and OG, they are so similar. They come off the same on the lid. You could have picked one or the other. Like, here. Like, they come off the same on the lid. Okay, we're down to the top 5. I've kind of gone through these quickly. This one I really love the color story of, but there are colors in here I'm not going to use ever. Do I still like the palette though? Yes, I love it. This is the Volume 3 Noreena palette. I almost dropped them, don't mind that shocked face. This is the Noreena Volume 3 palette. First off, the outer packaging is gorgeous. Love it. And this is the inside. Again, this is another palette that when I use it, I create stunning looks. And I go for the really warm orangey tones, but these greens, I'm never going to use them. And then the reason why these aren't like top favorites, like they're pretty close, is because the shimmer formula is gorgeous. But it's harder, like I can use a regular brush in their 14 pans, but in the Noreena formula, you have to use, like you absolutely have to use your fingers, or you have to dig in and push them on. And a lot of people don't want to ruin their branding palette, you know? And then the one that I'm pretty sure everyone thought kind of would be like top 3, the Noreena Volume 1. The reason this isn't top 3 is because I like the Noreena formula. I do. I like the matte formula, but the shimmer formula just doesn't wow me as much as their 14 pan Noreena, or the 14 pan palettes. Those really, really wow me. Like, they are gorgeous, and then the mattes in those palettes are also gorgeous. So for that reason, these aren't higher, but they're still gorgeous. It's got a purple theme. The thing is I like these colors, I use these colors. I don't use them as often. So it becomes like incohesive for me as a color story. But it still ranks high because it is a good palette. Like, it's not bad. I like the color story. I use it pretty often. And then this one is one that I missed out on launch. And I had to find it on Poshmark. And I paid at retail price, which is actually really awesome. Someone really could have gypped me there. But this is the Sultry palette. I love, love, love the cool tones in this palette. I hate that pop pink. I would totally take that out. I love a cool tone neutral palette. I like packaging, even if I get glittery for the next week. The shimmers in this one, I don't know if they're actually better, but they seem better. Like, in my head, I'm like, those are better. The formula is gorgeous. I really like a cool tone neutral. I feel like this was something different for Anastasia Beverly Hills at the time. Like, this was just different for them, and they did a good job with that one. And then this one's kind of new, so I haven't played with it as much, but I like the color story the most out of all the Noreena palettes. I think the packaging, I don't know why this packaging was so plain for the Noreena Volume 4, but I mean, I'm not really here to critique packaging. But I think out of all of the Noreenas, this one has the most cohesive color story. My site yellow, but it has the most cohesive color story that makes the most sense. And the glitters in here, again, they work for the palette, but I'd rather not have a glitter in my palette. I'd rather put on glitter separately if I want to. Yeah. But I do like that one a lot. It still has the same like shimmer formula as the rest, so there's nothing really different. It just has the best color story in my opinion. And then finally, have you guessed what my top palette is? What my top Anastasia Beverly Hills palette? It's a collab palette. I'll give you a couple seconds. I rave about this palette all the time. I think this should be a permanent palette in their collection. This is the Jackie Aina collab. I listened to everyone when they were like, oh, it's like modern renaissance and soft glam had a baby child. Are you on crack? Are you okay? Because that's not what this palette is. It is deeper, richer than both of those palettes. It caters to both audiences, like Anastasia's light audience, me, hi, and then it caters to Jackie Aina's audience, which is predominantly Black makeup artists. And people were also bitching at this palette because it was too dark, but if you can't work with it, then that's your problem. I can work with this palette fine. I don't need any, I don't need to do anything to make it work for me because it works for everyone. And that is the beautiful thing about this palette, and this is what I admire. But this color story too, like over here you have a more pinky warm purple side, and then you get your neutrals over here. First off, this duochrome, which I'm pretty sure is like Anastasia Beverly Hills' first sponsored, is gorgeous. I use that all the time. I have dips in these browns. I love, 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 love to use this to blend out my edges. This one is a satin, which is not my favorite formula, but it's not overly sparkly. The only shade I am not very fond of in this entire palette is Trust Issues. I find it a little chunkier, but the shimmers are gorgeous. Jackie Aina knows color story. Like, this palette is just fucking gorgeous, and that's why it's my top. And because it's the only one I've like really dug into. So yeah, those were all my 8 Anastasia Beverly Hills palettes ranked. Let me know what you think. Do you think I ranked them well, or would you have put them in different orders if like it was you? Some of this just comes down to preference versus like, you know, actual formula. There are really only a few duds in my collection of Anastasia Beverly Hills palettes. So most of the time I'm ranking them based on color story and just little minute details that really don't matter to me at the end of the day. But I do enjoy the Anastasia Beverly Hills formula a lot. I think it's probably one of the best eyeshadows in the game. But they might have a tough time beating out Colored Rain now. I'm waiting for my paycheck to hit so I can go on a shopping spree. But yeah, just let me know what you think in the comments. That's all I got for you guys today. Have a good day. Stay safe. Wear your mask, please. Bye.